The most impossible thing God ever imagined was not the universe. It was you. Not because you were special as a person, but because infinite consciousness became so hypnotized by one body, one face, one name, and one private voice in the head that it forgot it was infinite. That is what you are. Not a person trying to find God, God pretending to be a person, God pretending it was born, God pretending it has a name, God pretending it is looking through two eyes from somewhere inside of a skull. And the spiritual journey is the moment God stops believing its own disguise. But here's where it gets strange. This sounds insane only because you were trained to accept something even stranger. You were told a dead universe exploded from nowhere, produced matter, stars, planets, animals, brains, and somehow consciousness appeared inside of one of those brains. Then that consciousness looked outward and said, I am only human. That story feels factual because everyone repeats it. But popularity is not proof. Direct experience is the test. So look now. There are colors, sounds, sensations, and thoughts. And there is the undeniable fact that all of it is known. Now look carefully. Where is the brain producing this field? Where is the physical universe outside it? Where is Earth? Where's the Big Bang? Where are the atoms behind perception? You do not directly have those things. You have images, concepts, memories, models, and explanations. And every one of them is appearing inside consciousness. So why assume consciousness comes from them? That is the hidden reversal. You have taken second order stories and used them to explain away first order reality. The story says, I am a human inside a universe. Direct experience reveals that the universe you know is appearing inside consciousness. The story says, consciousness is inside the body. Direct experience reveals that the body is appearing inside consciousness. This is the part most people skip. They assume the explanation is more real than the experience being explained. So what is present before all those stories arrive? Strip every explanation away. Remove Earth, remove space, remove time. Remove the belief that neurons are manufacturing this moment. What remains? This. Pure appearing, raw knowing, a field with no visible edge, no center, no owner, no location. Then a thought appears inside of it and says, this is me. But that answer creates an even bigger problem. If the thought me is being noticed, how could it be the one doing the noticing? If the feeling of being behind the eyes is known, how could that feeling be the knower? If the body is perceived, how could the body contain the awareness perceiving it? That thought is not your real birth. It is the birth of the disguise. God does not become human by entering a body. God becomes human by believing a thought, I am this body. I am behind the eyes. I began in the past. I'll disappear in the future. The mind will try to escape this by asking, then what am I? But do not answer with another thought. Look before the answer appears. Before the word me appears, are you absent? Before memory appears, are you gone? Before the body is labeled my body, is awareness missing? No, there is still knowing. Notice the silence before identity. Notice the openness before your name. Notice the awareness already there before thought says human. That is closer to what you are. Not an object, not a soul floating around in space. But here's the uncomfortable part. The mind cannot picture what you are because every picture appears within you. It cannot locate what you are because every location appears within awareness. That is why consciousness has no fixed form. If it had one shape, it cannot reveal all shapes. If it had one color, it cannot reveal all colors. So consciousness is empty. Not blackness, not a blank void. Now look again. Do not turn everything as consciousness into another belief. A sentence about consciousness is still another appearance inside consciousness. So test it. Can you find anything outside awareness? Even the thought, "this is false," appears inside the very field it denies. That is how deep the dream goes. But here's where it gets even stranger. You, the ego, are not God. The ego is the costume. The personality is the character. The private self is the mask. God is the entire field in which the little person appears. God is this moment before explanation divides it into me and world. You have been searching for God as an object. That is why you missed it. But God is not outside the universe. The universe appears inside God. Not like furniture inside a container, like a dream inside mind. Now look at waking experience. The waking brain may also be an appearance inside consciousness. You may object, this world is too stable to be a dream. But stability provides consistency, not materiality. A dream can follow rules. A world can feel solid without revealing what it is made of. But that answer creates an even bigger problem. If consciousness is the field in which the world appears, awakening cannot be a person escaping the world. Awakening must be consciousness recognizing that the personal world was never separate from it. You do not become God. You realize you were never merely human. And the deepest cut is no self, because the human disguise depends on a separate self being there. So find it. Where is the one who is aware? Is it in the head? Or is the head, sensations, pressure, and imagery appearing in awareness? Is it the voice in the mind? Or is that voice another soundless appearance? Now look very carefully. Look for the center. Look for the controller. Look for the owner of experience. You may find a pressure behind the eyes. You may find a thought saying, "I am right here." But every one of those is something being noticed. You will not find the separate self noticing them. Now, when that lands, the human mask begins to crack, because here is the uncomfortable part. Fear may appear. The thought, "I am disappearing," may appear. The mind may search for something solid. But what knows that thought? What notices the fear? The fear is known. The disappearing sensation is known. So what is actually disappearing? Not consciousness, only the belief that consciousness belonged to a separate person. The mind will try to escape this by turning it into philosophy. Do not let it. Verify the absence of the ego directly. Sit every day. Ask, what am I? Ask, where am I? Ask, who is aware? Feel the foot, feel the hand, hear the room. Notice that all of it is known. Then look for the knower. Do not picture awareness. Do not invent a glowing field. Notice the empty knowing already there before thought names it. Stay there. Not as an idea, but as direct experience. Now look again. There was never a human processing consciousness. There was consciousness imagining the experience of being human. There was never a person finding God. There was God pretending to be a person who forgot. And right now, God is watching this video through your eyes while pretending it does not know what it is. That is the cosmic joke. You were not trying to reach God. You are what God looks like when it forgets itself. You are God pretending to be human. And awakening is the moment the pretending stops.